What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we have the Anniversary Sugo Fest data download. Now, we don't have the full information regarding the banners. We can see the steps. I talked about them extensively in my previous video that I just uploaded. Hopefully you guys check that one out. But yeah, in today's video, we're looking at all the new characters. We're going to break them all down, talk about their abilities and stuff, and see how good they are, right? So let's just jump into it, because this is going to be a long video, so I want to just jump into it, get as much done as we possibly can. The legends we'll talk about last. We're going to go through the rare recruits first. First, we have Capone. Capone is a strength shooter driven. Pretty typical of a Capone character. Artwork actually looks kind of nice, to be honest. His captain effect is pretty bad. His special ability, 13 turns, reduces chain lock and chain multiplier growth rate reduction by 7, and also has damage threshold on your team. Anything above 3,000 is significantly reduced for 2 turns, and heals 30% of your crew's max HP. A very defensive style unit, but I like that he at least gives you a little bit of utility, removing those chain locking debuffs, but honestly, I'm not a big fan of this. This is not a really good rare recruit. Like, I don't see too many situations where you're going to be using this over a lot of other characters in the game. I mean, it really depends on the situation that you're in. Obviously, he's going to be boosted for the upcoming event that he's going to be there for. But I don't really know outside of that, like, how much you're actually going to use this guy. Not a big fan, honestly. In terms of his crewmate abilities, HP, strength, and psi characters get 50. That's pretty bad. And then also cannot be blown away. That's fine, I guess. He has Enrage, 150, reduced 2 turns of increased damage taken. He has Recovery Bind by 7. That's not too bad for a rare recruit, actually. And his support is Chiffon, Vito, and Gotti, just giving 13% HP. Man, this guy is so mid. Okay, hopefully his PvP stuff can bring it back. Alright, in PvP, medium range frontal for 1.5 attack, strength, teammates get level 2 defense, kind of mid. His passive is Team Guard percent up level 5, defense level 2. Again, just kind of mid. There's just nothing redeeming about this unit, honestly. There's like so many other characters I would rather use on a team over this guy. Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of this Capone, but at least he removes those chain debuffs. That's kind of nice, but the rest I'm not really a big fan of. Let's talk about Nami. Okay, this Nami, who is a Psi Cerebral Striker, pretty typical. Her captain effect is nothing special. 10 turn cooldown. I like that it's really low. 10 turn cooldown reduces special charge time by 1, reduces Bind, Despair, and Burn by 2 turns, and then gives your Strength and Psi characters 1.75 color affinity for 1 turn. That's a good special. This is a good rare recruit. This is what I'm talking about, dude. This is actually a really good rare recruit. Her crewmate effect, resist special reverse by 2, love it, and also sets all slots to recovery at the start of the quest. I like it, very, very good for Luffy and Sanji, actually. Then she has the recovery bind resistance by 5, and she has double special activation. That is very nice. So you can get, 2 turns of cooldown, 4 turns of bind, despair, and burn removal, or 2 multiple turns of 1.75 color affinity. This is a good unit. I like this unit so far, very, very good. Support effect to Luffy or Sanji, 5% in damage reduction, 5% base stats. Not a great support across the board there. Alright, let's see what she does in Rumble. In Rumble, 30-second CT is a little high. All enemies get 1300 fixed damage, and then teammates get a small range of 2 times recovery heal. Again, not really too crazy, level 4 HP, level 5 speed. That's not a bad passive for a regular rare recruit. But unfortunately, her special is much to be desired, though. At least it is fixed damage to all enemies, but I think the CT is a little bit too high for my liking, actually. Yeah, not really that good. I mean, she won't actually recover that much either. She only is going to recover, like, 700-ish HP, which is not that great. Either way, it is what it is. I think the Nami, though, is going to be good in a lot of content. I like that a lot, actually. It's very good. Now, we have Luffy and Sanji right here, but we will have to skip over to the other parts to talk about the other characters that are releasing. But let's start off with the big dog, Luffy and Sanji. So, Luffy and Sanji, the new character that everyone wants to get their hand on. They are a strength and psi unit, by the way. Luffy is strength, Sanji is psi, and they are all free spirit fighter no matter which character you switch into, which is both a good and a bad thing, actually. So you've got Luffy. Let's talk about Luffy's form first. So Luffy being a strength unit, captain effect boosts the crew's attack by 4 times when you're full at the start of the attack, 3.5 otherwise. So for a dual unit to have a solo captain effect with those type of multipliers is actually pretty good. Boosts HP by 1.2 and allows healing up to 2 times your max HP that ignores the max HP limit. So he can overheal. So if you've got a max cap of like 30,000 health, you can actually heal up to 60,000 health, which is really good. It basically gives you like double HP, but you have to start healing to get that HP. Kind of like the Moby Dick, where you start off at half HP, but you get like a bigger HP pool to work with. Kind of similar like that, but it's actually really cool. The fact that you can just overheal past your max HP threshold, and when you are overhealed, by the way, it does consider you to be at full HP, which means that, you know, you get the higher multiplier, of course, which is really, really good. Now, when you switch over to Sanji, Sanji's captain effect is going to be a little bit different. It's a little bit weaker in terms of the multipliers. 3.75 times to all characters if you're above, you know, the max threshold, if you're full HP, or it's 3.25 times otherwise. So it is a lot weaker, actually. And then it will give you the same health boost, 1.2, but 1000 HP healed at the end of each turn, and then also gives you the overheal mechanic. I like that though, because you can get the additional heal. He's going to be very, very good for high difficulty content to give you consistent heals, especially if you're running like the Liberal Hind, for example, because you can get like double Sanji plus auto heal plus the ship is 4,000 heal per turn, and if you use Vivi Rebecca, it's 6,000 heal per turn with their switch effect. Like, that's actually kind of bonkers when you think about it. So I like that. It's good. Pretty decent captain effect. I'm not a big fan of dual units to begin with. If you guys have been long-time viewers of my Twitch channel, my YouTube channel, I have stated this previously, I'm not the biggest fan of dual units, but in terms of dual units power level, this is the strongest dual unit in the game in terms of multipliers. I think Shanks' crew is still really good though, because they got really good utility within them, but yeah, it is what it is, right? Now, what happens when you launch your switch effect? Every time you switch between Luffy and Sanji, what happens? This is what happens every time you switch. It changes their own slot to recovery. It doesn't get rid of block orbs though, but changes their own slot to recovery. It makes all your recovery slots count as matching for one turn, and then also resists one turn of Bind, Despair, and Paralysis. That's really good, and that works for everyone. It's not like remove Bind, Despair, and Paralysis on themselves, because obviously if they're binded, you can't switch, but either way, Bind, Despair, Paralysis -1 is very good, right? Especially if you're on double Luffy Sanji, it's 2 turns of Bind, Despair, and Paralysis removal every single turn. Pretty good. Pretty good. Now, what happens when you launch their special ability? Their special ability is actually pretty good too, right? So it changes all slots, including block slots, to recovery, using the switch effect to make them beneficial to your team. It's going to go ahead and heal your crew by 50 times their recovery, and it does state here that you can heal up to 2 times your max HP, ignoring the limit. So it means that if you use this guy as a crewmate, he will actually still give you overhealing, but it only gives you overhealing when you launch the special, not like anytime you heal with a recovery slot or another healing special. It's just that if you use Luffy Sanji special, and when you heal with it, if you would go to your max HP, it will give you overhealing, which is very cool. Now, that's all well and good, but then it has one other effect that says, if you launch the special and your HP is full, you get a Rainbow 2.5 attack boost to all characters. If you're not at full HP, it's a 2 times attack boost to all characters, and then you fuse to Luffy and Sanji to 3 turns. So it is a good special ability, but I just keep bringing you back to like Roger, for example. In my opinion, Roger is basically a better version of this character in almost every sense. The thing that Roger doesn't have, this guy does have, is this guy is definitely more defensively minded, because they have a healing capability with Sanji's captain effect, and also they have got a healing capability of their special. So that's the difference there, the main difference between like Roger and Odin, for example. Plus, it's a Luffy and Sanji character, which means that they actually have better supports, which is actually a really big benefit to the unit, because they're both rainbow captains, can go up to 5 times, because we haven't talked about their dual captain yet, and they're both attack boosters. They both have the capability to give you a full board of slots. So there is differences between the two. I think Roger is a better unit still, but Luffy and Sanji are no slouches either. So their dual form captain effect, when you use their special to become the dual form, boost the crew's attack by 5 times when the HP is full, 4.5 otherwise, 1.2 health, heals by 2000 HP at the end of the turn, and allows you to get overhealing mechanics. That's a very good captain effect right there. If only that captain effect was constant. 2000 heal per turn plus like all of that is like way too good. But yeah, that dual captain is insane actually. Very, very nice. Now, they actually have the new potential ability, the recovery attack boost and the hunger resistance. So this is a very important thing, because with the introduction of this character, the hunger debuff is going to see more and more play. It's going to be more and more common that you're going to actually like find it in the game. So what it does, this potential ability, boosts your character's base attack depending on how much you healed in the previous turn. So if you healed 3000 HP, you get 300 additional base attack, so that's the max capacity there at level 5, and it also reduces the hunger debuff by 3, which is really good. Just to have a character that can just remove it for you is really good. And the thing is, you know, there's no hunger tablets in the game that are accessible yet. We did get given 5 hunger tablets for free during the World Cruise celebration, but no one, unless if you're absurdly lucky, no one is going to have this character rainbowed unless if you pull dupes of him or something. So that's a little bit of an annoyance there. He does have pinch healing, so 1.5 times his recovery when he's 50% or less and you hit a perfect, and recovery bind by 10, which is quite good. Obviously they're a dual unit, so they don't have a support effect, but in PvP they're actually really good in PvP. So a 32-second CT targets 2 enemies for 3.5 times damage. That is very strong. And then targets your team for level 5 attack up and level 7 speed up. All characters on your team get that, and 3.5 times their attack, especially if you've got already attack boost active, is going to do absurd amounts of damage. It's basically going to just insta-kill 2 characters, unless if they have really high defense or really high HP values or both. This is pretty much going to kill like 2 characters, which is really good, right? 32-second CT means you should be able to launch it at least twice per run, which is good. Their passive is very good too. Level 6 attack and level 3 speed to all characters is nice. But nothing really too much else to talk about. I mean, they completely avoid special bind, which is quite good too. So that's Luffy and Sanji. I think they're a really good unit. I still like Roger a bit more, because I don't like having a really weak captain effect for a majority of the fight, and then on their burst turn, obviously they're really good, but I just prefer Roger, personally. But this character is still really, really strong, right? And I definitely want to get my hands on them for sure. But that's not the only Sugo Fest exclusive that's dropping on this banner. Let's go ahead and skip over to Part 2, which debuts on the 4th of March at 1900 PST time, to talk about the Sweet Commanders. Okay, so now we're skipped over to Part 2 now. As I said, debuts on March 4th at 1900 PST time. It is weird how they've structured this Sugo Fest, but I digress. Let's talk about the new characters. Now, something about Part 2 that's very, very interesting that we have to talk about here is this, the Perispero. Guaranteed on multi number 2, by the way. This Perispero you can only get on this banner. I don't know if he's actually returned yet on JP. He might have on a weird banner, but this is the only place where you can get him, so I would suggest spending your 80 gems to get this guy guaranteed because he is very good. Let's talk about Perispero. He's a strength-driven cerebral, reduces charge time by 1, 2.5 attack, nothing great there, but 13 turn special cooldown, reduces damage threshold, damage reduction, and defense up all by 4 turns, and if your captain is a strength type, doubles your slot effects for 1 turn. This unit is awesome. If you have the Sweet Commanders, you need to have this unit, because the Sweet Commanders is a super type character, by the way, and in order to proc the super type, you need one of those, like, one of the Charlotte family characters, which this guy's able to do. This guy works very well with the Sweet Commanders. It makes sense. What else does he have? He will give strength characters 50 base stats, and also he resists special bind and special reverse by 2. That's actually really good. I didn't know he had that. That's actually very, very good. He has the defense, so dex defense by 5%, and slot bind by 7. That's nice. Support effect, attaching to Big Mom or Katakuri. Once per quest, if the enemy activates defense up or damage threshold, reduces defense up and damage threshold by 2 turns at the start of the next turn. Amazing, absolutely amazing support effect. Just like that alone is like, you should get this guy, but this guy's just going to be a good unit in general. He does have effects in Pyro Rumble too, I didn't even realize that. 25 CT in a medium range for 1.2, attack down level 6, defense down level 2. It's okay, nothing amazing though. What's his passive? Team attack level 5, CT speed up level 2. It's not too bad, it's okay. I don't know if I would actually use him on a strength team, for example, because he is a strength unit himself. Cerebral team or driven team, I don't know, he's just okay in my eyes. I don't see him being too useful, but I like the passive though. Passive's actually pretty decent. Okay, so he's going to be available on the second multi of Part 2. I would highly advise to spend the 80 gems to get him because he's just a really rare character. But then we have this, the Sweet 3 Generals. So as I mentioned, they are a super type character. We have Katakuri, we've got Smoothie, and we've got Cracker. So the Sweet Generals are a strength / a powerhouse character. Captain effect is going to boost your strength characters by 4.25 times. All other characters still get a 3.75 times boost, by the way, so you don't have to run mono strength if you don't want to. And then it boosts your crew's HP by 1.3, so nice to have the health boost there. Boost strength characters attack by approximately 5 times if any enemies were defeated in the previous turn, and also reduces despair by 10 turns. This is a great captain effect, man. Really, really good unit, man. Like, I love the inbuilt utility in captain effects these days, so that definitely checks a box for me. I love the utility in Captain effects. 5 times Captain, if you beat an enemy in the previous turn, is not difficult to do. That's very, very easy. Including like enemies that revive. If you've killed them and then they revive, it still counts as you killing something in the previous turn. So, you know, still 5 times Captain is going to be there. So in most cases, like, it's basically just going to be a 5 times Captain all the time to your strength units. Very, very good. And the 1.3 health boost as well. And you don't have to run mono strength. You can still get 3.75 to all other types too. Really, really good. Now, of course, as a captain, you get access to their super type, which means you do need to run one of these random units to get it. So you got Charlotte Linen. There's a couple of good strength Linens there. Perispero, you got the new one that just came out, of course. Daifuku, there's like Colosseum Daifuku. Oh, no, sorry. Colosseum Oven, I was thinking of. But for Daifuku, there's not many good strength ones I can think of. You've got Amand, no. You got Opera, you've got the Colosseum one, but he's not very good. Brule, there's a couple of decent Brules, I suppose. There's the support Brule, but it doesn't really work, of course. Montdor, the strength Montdor is actually really, really good, so you can definitely use that. Charlotte Galette, I mean, there's that rare recruit one who's okay. Bava Wa is terrible. There's a couple of good puddings, of course, and then Flampe you can use too. But their Super Tie Special is like the main reason as to why this character is basically like never used, because their Super Tie Special is pretty bad. So it does 100 times their attack in non-type damage to all enemies that ignores all defensive effects and base defense. So you can use it to just wave clear enemies, which I like. That's cool. But then it says reduces your strength character special charge time by 1 turn. And then you get the super strength characters. So it does AoE damage and -1 cooldown. That's all it does. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. What would have been awesome for this guy is if their super type special changed like all type orbs into strength or something like that, very similar to like Odin with his part of his special. Like if he's just like launch the super type special and then it does like the damage and then changes all type slots into strength, oh my god, this character would be so much better. Or like changes all type slots and like block orbs into strength or something like that, would be so broken, man. Like this character probably would be like a god tier unit, because once you see their special is so good. So I like this unit in general, but their super type special is definitely the weakest component of this unit overall. So their special ability, 13 turns, boost the chain multiplier by 1.1 for 1 turn, doubles strength characters attack for 1 turn, and doubles color affinity to strength characters for 1 turn. So you're getting components of all characters here. You're getting an attack boost, a color affinity, and a chain boost. Obviously, because you got the 3 generals, you get 3 different effects going on. It's so cool, dude. I love like the idea of this unit, but it's not executed quite right. Just the super type special is a little mid for me, but of course you can use it in a really offensive way, or you can use it to speed up your specials, which is obviously okay, but there's just too many components of this unit that I don't like. You've got the effect that makes all quick dex and int orbs beneficial to themselves, and also completely evades special bind. That's actually pretty cool. I didn't know he had that. That's nice. Okay. Slot bind reduction by 5. Oh, that's really bad, dude. 5 turns. Oh, that's bad. Okay, critical hit, 70% chance for 7%, also not great. I wish that was 90%. And then also Enrage, which is going to give you 300 additional attack and -5 turns of increased damage taken. That's actually really good, but the slot bind being 5 is a big disappointment. The crit is, I mean, the crit's okay, but okay, anyways, their support effect attaches to Lin or Perispero, and it says, once per quest, if inflicted with despair or special bind, reduce it by 2 turns. That's a really, really good support effect. So yeah, like just that alone is going to make this character so valuable, just to have it on a Big Mom character. Also works very well with Kaido versus Big Mom. Whenever they come out, you can use this support on them to get just amazing utility, which is really good. I like that a lot. Okay, let's have a look at their Rumble stuff. So their Rumble stuff here, you've got their special, which is a 28 CT. Enemies in a large range for 2 times their attack, and then strength enemies will get 15% CT reduction. So I like that mono strength is trying to get worked on a little bit. I don't know if mono strength is going to be game changing or anything, because the int at the moment is really powerful. Slashes are still really good. So I don't know, this isn't like a game changing unit for the strength team, but potentially later on down the line when more strength characters come out, this would probably be a character that you may want to look into. And their passive is going to give strength teammates level 6 attack, level 3 HP. That's a pretty good passive, honestly. Pretty good. Completely evades damage over time, which is not very common at all, but okay. That's the Sweet Commanders for you. They're a pretty interesting unit. I definitely would love to pull them just to try and use them in different pieces of content, but I don't know. It's not really like a game-changing unit, but just a very fun unit. So let's go ahead and move over to part 3, which introduces the final Sugo Fest exclusive, which is going to be the Germa character. Okay, so now we've switched over now to part 3, which is going to be debuting on the 9th of March at 1900 PST time, introducing the Germa 66 character. Now, there are no other special units that are coming alongside Germa 66, but you can see this banner. You got V3 Boa and Roger boosted on the same banner. Like, if you are looking to build up the good side characters on your account, this is the part to go for. Let's have a look at the Germa 66 and see what they're all about. If you guys saw my early showcase of them, shout out to Bandai for that one. This character is awesome. I love this unit. Germa 66 are a super type character, a super type Psi powerhouse driven. Captain effect will boost Psi characters by 4 times, all other types by 3.75. Makes Psi characters attack 5 times if they have a Psi slot or a tandem slot. Makes tandem beneficial, and if they become the captain in the middle of the adventure, they're super effective against all types. That's awesome, dude. Especially when you read their special and see how that works. This character is really, really good. I like it. I like it a lot because Psi is probably the best typing in the game, especially if you consider all the stuff on JP. The Psi typing is really good. You've got access to so many good characters. I mean, Roger and Boa literally on this banner are like perfect for this unit. You've got Wano Law, for example. I mean, not super perfect with the Germa 66, but just talking about Psi in general, Psi have so much going on for them. Amazing characters, right? And even Luffy Sanji, they're half Psi, they're strengthened Psi, right? So they got so much going on for them. This captain effect is great. Now remember, when they are the captain, they get access to super type. Now, in order to launch it, it's very easy to proc, considering, you know, when we had a look at the Sweet Command, it's very, very difficult to do it in comparison. But for their super type, you need a Sanji, a Luffy, Nami, Chopper, Brook, Jinbei, or Carrot in order to do it, which is a lot easier. And their super type special will give you a chain multiplier boost of 1.25, and also lock your slots for 1 turn. Now, this multiplier chain effect is the exact same as like Sanji Judge's switch effect, where it actually multiplies the value of your chain boost, not actually giving you a 1.25 chain boost. It's a bit different. It actually works alongside those effects, as my Elgato decides to cut out there, which is great. But yeah, that's an amazing effect, and they lock your slots as well, which is good because of their special ability, which is multi-stage. But let's just talk about stage 2. 12 turn cooldown, changes all slots into tandem, doesn't get rid of block orbs though, but all slots into tandem, boosts Psi character slot effects by 2.25 for 2 turns, and swaps this character to the captain for 2 turns. So you've got a character that can give you a 2.25 orb boost. You've got their super type, which locks those slots, those tandem slots, gives you the multiplier, the 1.25 chain multiplier. You have a 5 times captain. Your tandem slots that are given to you with your special are treated as beneficial. So you've got so much going on here with just one unit by himself. This unit's awesome. This unit is really, really good. Let's have a look at the other effects. Makes all type slots beneficial to this character, makes sense. And then also makes the crew's tandem slots beneficial as well. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. Very, very good. So they've got Enrage. The Enrage is 200 and reducing 3 turns of increased damage taken. Critical Hit, which is a 70% chance for 7%, which is the same. And then also Slot Bind, which reduces it by 10 turns. It doesn't completely avoid it, but 10 turns is as good as you're going to get, right? That's okay, whatever, it's not too bad. The potential abilities are just okay. As for their support, it only attaches to Sanji, but once per quest, if the enemy changes your slots around, changes your crew slots to tandem, all characters get a tandem slot, and then makes Psi recovery in tandem beneficial for 1 turn. That's really good, because you can use this in a lot of different ways. Obviously, you can just use it to give you matching slots, but like if the enemy, like hypothetically on a death hit, will go ahead and give you like a negative beneficial orb enable, this can avoid it, which is really cool, but it only works if it's on a death hit or something, or if they do it like on turn 2. It depends on the situation, right? But this is a pretty good effect. I like it. Very, very good. I don't know how often you're going to use it though, because it's very situational, because you have to wait for the enemy to change your slots around, and if they change them to block slots, then that doesn't really help you that much. But it depends on the situation, but that's still pretty good. Still pretty good. So let's have a look at their Rumble stuff. So in Rumble, they got a 30-second CT, 3 enemies are hit with 2500 fixed damage, 2 int enemies get hit with 100% chance for paralysis for 16 seconds. Now, paralysis, I'm not really the biggest fan of paralysis in PvP, because paralysis does not stop an enemy from using their special. It only just stops them from doing a normal attack or a healing like attack. It doesn't stop them from activating a special. So that's the big problem there. If it stopped them from, then again, if it stopped them from activating a special, it's basically better special bind. So I guess that does kind of make sense. So I don't know where this would be actually useful, but still 2500 fixed damage to 3 enemies. That's not too bad, I suppose. It's not too bad. Yeah, it's okay. It's just okay. I don't know if it's like game breaking or anything, but they're passive. Side teammates get level 2 defense. level 5 HP. That's actually a really good passive. And then int enemies will get level 2 defense down. Yeah, I like it. That's a good passive. It's just, I wish their special was a bit better. I wish the 2500 fixed damage was like a large range. I feel like that would have definitely benefited this character a lot more. But I guess 3 enemies for 25 is not terrible either. And then you still get a little bit of debuffing on top of it. I guess they could still... I'll have to try and test it out. I'll have to test out this guy for sure. But it does seem very interesting on paper. He does avoid Action Bind, which I do like. Action Bind is one of the most annoying things to deal with in Pirate Rumble. So I like that he has the ability to just get rid of that. So he does target enemies with high speed. I don't know how useful that's going to be, but that's interesting. Okay, well that's the rundown of the Germa Double Six, and that's just the overall rundown of all the new debuting Rare Recruit characters that are coming for the Sugo Fest. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know down below in the comment section which of the characters that we talked about in this video today were your favorites. Which one are you looking forward to? Germa Double Six, Sweet Commanders, Luffy Sanji, or maybe the new Rare Recruit Nami? The Perispero is really good as well. Let me know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.